What's up, YouTube? This is Big Mike here on President's Day. I'm here in West Virginia. The snow has just started to fall. Light snow started. We are right now getting ready to have perhaps the biggest snowstorm we've had in at least 5 years, according to the experts. When all is said and done, and here in Central Virginia, we're expecting 6 to 12 inches of snow. Latest computer models are actually suggesting that we may get as much as 10 to 14 inches where I am. And that's unusual because usually in Central Virginia, we get kind of fucked a lot of these snowstorms. But I'm not here to talk about the weather, though. I'm talking about All-Star Weekend. The All-Star Weekend, it was better than most recent ones, I'd say. I tend to, I'm, as usual with me at least, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to find now Saturday night more entertaining than the actual game. And recently I've been looking forward most of all to the three-point contest. The reason why I look forward to three-point contests is because, unlike the slam dunk contest in the last near decade, with some exceptions, the three-point contest actually draws stars. With the dunk contest now, you don't get the superstars, you don't get the all-stars, you get people whose name you can't pronounce, people you've never heard of, people who, not to pick on someone, but like Fred Jones was a slam dunk champion 10 years ago, and then a couple years later he's out of the league. You know what I mean? There's no prestige left for that contest anymore. And just because you have Dr. J as a judge doesn't, it doesn't legitimize these contests anymore. They just, I mean, the dunks were okay, but it's just, the magic of that event is just gone, man. It hasn't really been good to me, like great, since Vince Carter. It was still pretty good 10, 12 years ago, but the last great one was Vince Carter, man. He put on a show, and he's the last, to me, legit superstar that participated. I guess you could say Dwight Howard, but Dwight Howard at that time was just starting to really become the player that he was becoming at the time. Vince was already taking the league by storm his rookie year. As a matter of fact, it wasn't his rookie year, I think. It was his second year. Yeah, I think it was his second year. I think his first year was a strike shortened year. But, you know, it was a good contest and back then, but now it just kind of sucks. The three-point contest was very interesting. You had some of the, that had been probably the best pure shooting contest I've ever seen as far as people actually in it. I mean, sometimes you raise your eyebrows at some of the people that participate, but this year was just incredible. Saw some incredible shooting. Matthews, Klay Thompson had a great round, but overall the star was Stephen Curry. I have been wanting to say this, you know, because I don't want to hyperbole in any way, but Stephen Curry just may go on to become the greatest three-point shooter we've ever seen. And I don't like to just jump on the bandwagon and, you know, one year I'm saying Ray Allen the greatest, and then that's the next year or a couple of games later, just because the guy happened to stretch, I want to call him the greatest shooter now. Stephen Curry's release is just so incredible. Like, it's so effortless. As opposed to a guy like Ray Allen, who he had to work really, really hard to perfect that release. I don't want to say anyone's a born shooter, but you look at his father, Dale, one of the greatest three-point shooters of his era, and Stephen is arguably a even better shooter than his father. And he just makes it look so effortless. I'm pretty sure that he puts a lot of effort into his shot, but it's just incredible the way that he can get into a zone like that. And he pulled in a record 27 points in the final round of a possible 34. Although it has to be said that that record is skewed because now they have in the final rack all money balls. So that wasn't the case when Mark Price and Craig Hodges set their marks for 25. But it was a great contest. And I think Stephen Curry is going to be one of the greatest shooters the game has ever witnessed. The All-Star game was okay. High scoring. It was pretty good. It was exciting at times. But I'm a little bit disturbed by a couple of things. Number one, I think NBA players take too many three-pointers. I think everyone's trying to have these home run moments, these ESPN highlight reel moments. And there's also a great deal of selfishness in these games. Players now, I remember, this is a loaded soliloquy I'm about to go on, but in the past, you had more of a multitude of stars, all right? So every head coach who coached these teams, and I remember this as a kid and a younger teenager, they would talk about how the coach was planning on distributing minutes and limiting minutes and getting everyone involved. And for a long time, Michael Jordan held the record for highest scoring average in an All-Star game. It was at 21 points or something like that. And you contrast that to LeBron, who's averaging 25 points a game in an All-Star game. That stratagem is gone now. It's all about the superstars shooting just about as much as they do for their respective teams, let alone an All-Star game. That's selfish. I think some of these guys shoot too fucking much. Excuse my language. They shoot the ball too fucking much in the All-Star game. That's why I'm not as impressed with LeBron surpassing Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And if I'm not mistaken, he must have came pretty close to getting close to Kobe Bryant as far as overall points scored in an All-Star game. If he hasn't surpassed him, he's right there under him or by him. But I'm not impressed by it because when Michael played, he played more limited minutes than a guy like LeBron. I'm pretty sure Michael probably only averaged something like 25 minutes or so. Probably one of the sole exceptions is the game that was in Chicago. That's different when you're playing in front of your hometown. I think he scored 40 points in that game. That's a little bit different. That's when your teammates are actively trying to give you the ball. A lot of these guys, they just shoot too fucking much. I can understand Carmelo taking 20 shots because that is his hometown, Brooklyn. Not his hometown per se as far as where he's from, but he plays for the Knicks. Brooklyn, is basically New York City, basically. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff is just, maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe it's just the way I am, man, but it's just interesting how a lot of people just don't take things in perspective, like when they just say, oh, well, LeBron just passed Michael Jordan, Kareem. Well, you didn't mention the fact that when these guys played, they played usually limited minutes because coaches were trying to limit their minutes and make everyone play and have a fair amount of time on the court because they're voted as all-stars. But nobody gives a fuck about that anymore. They just want to see LeBron, Durant, and these guys fire up three-pointers. But Russell Westbrook, MVP, the East won 163-158. And overall, I guess I give the weekend a B-, I guess. maybe a C plus. It was better than some of the more recent ones, but the magic is kind of gone for me with these events.